Chapter 16, Summer 2007. My 74th birthday day. August the 17th, 2007 turned out to be quite a day. Diana and I were in our condominium at the Lookout in Ogunquit, Maine. In the morning, Diana and I made plans to meet Mickey and Sharon in Portsmouth, New Hampshire for a Japanese meal to celebrate my birthday. We were in a festive mood. Around 3:30 in the afternoon, I received a phone call on my cell phone from Henry, my son-in-law. He told me he had bad news. It turned out to be terrible news. Rachel and Henry's house on 130 Ritchie Avenue in Tacoma Park, Maryland, had burned to the ground. They lost almost everything they owned in the fire. It was a tragic event and placed a pall over the entire day. We did meet Sharon and Mickey for dinner as planned, but the joy of the day was sadly missing because of the fire. We subsequently learned that Rachel had been sleeping when the fire broke out and that her dog Beauregard, Bo, barked loudly and jumped on her to awaken her in time to flee before the flames engulfed the room in which she had been napping. Bo was a true hero and rescued Rachel from what could have been a horrible outcome. I talked with Rachel and Henry several times by phone. As could be expected, they were devastated and in shock. Their friends rallied around them, and immediate support was forthcoming in the form of donated clothing and offers for housing. Jimmy was the first family member to see Rachel, and he gave her $1,000 in cash, as well as just the support of being there to help and lend moral support. Diana and I felt terrible that we were so far away and couldn't be of immediate help and support. I decided to fly down to Maryland on Monday the 20th and fly back on the same day. I left our condo at 4:30 in the morning to catch a flight out of Portland for Baltimore. I rented a car and drove to the temporary home where Rachel and Henry were staying. It was 102 Sunnyside Drive in Tacoma Park, about 2 blocks from their burned-out home. I arrived at that address about 9:30 a.m. and had a very emotional embrace with Henry. Rachel arrived shortly thereafter, and we embraced and cried together in the driveway, where I went out to greet her. She had taken the time to retrieve our mail, which was being saved at a post office in Silver Spring while we vacationed in Maine. Incredibly, Rachel had taken the time to run this errand to get our mail in the midst of all the misery and details of preparing for the fire insurance adjuster. I went to their burned-out house and was astounded at how completely the fire had destroyed the entire insides and the heat had melted Rachel's ornamental guitars. We talked and lunched together, and then I flew back to Maine. I felt much better having seen Rachel and Henry and knowing that they were coping well and had insurance to cover most of their loss. I arrived back in Maine about 5 p.m. On August 21st, Rachel and Henry sent the following email. A letter from Henry and Rachel Cross. August 21st, 2007. Dearest friends and family, we have finally surfaced enough to make contact with all of you, beloved people, but you have been in our hearts and minds all through this most extreme adventure. On Friday, August 21st, we lost our house to fire. We lost our house and most of our stuff. We have not lost our home. Our home is all of you. We have always felt the love and support of our community. We are incredibly moved and honored to be able to experience your love in this way. We feel that we are the luckiest 2 people, 1 dog and 2 birds in the world. There has not been one moment when we have been without shelter, clothing, food, or love. Speaking of clothing, Rachel has been the recipient of some very hip clothing. She says that you all have a much better fashion sense than she does. Henry has just been wearing the same thing every day, like he usually does. As far as housing, if we took all of you up on your offers to house us, we could spend the next 7 years going from one friend's place to another. Your generosity is amazing. We have found a house that will allow us to stay in the neighborhood while 130 Ritchie Avenue is being rebuilt. 130 Ritchie Avenue will once again become the Ritchie Avenue Cultural Center, but this time with central air. In the meantime, we will be residing in a beautiful little purple house. Our address for a while is Henry and Rachel Cross, 812 Gist Avenue, Silver Spring Avenue, 20910. We are fortunate to have insurance that will rebuild our house and replace most of our possessions. Unfortunately, our musical gear and instruments that we use for business are not covered. Henry's recording studio and several of his basses were lost, but miraculously, Rachel's 3 best guitars survived virtually unscathed. The cases are melted and scorched, but an angel protected the guitars. We are humbled by the heroic work and dedication of all the fire and rescue workers, the police force, and the Red Cross. These folks are superheroes. And finally, a word about Beauregard. He's the canine hero in all of this. We got him from the PG County Animal Shelter about a year and a half ago. He looked pretty ragged at the time, so we gave him the name Beauregard because it means handsome in French. Beauregard alerted Rachel to the fire by barking and jumping. We rescued him, and he rescued us. Remember, dog is God spelled backwards, corny but true. We are moving forward a little bit every day. We are so happy to be alive, and we love you all. Henry, Rachel, Beauregard, Sonny the Lovebird, and Stormy the Parakeet. The California Wainers visit. Soon after my arrival back at the Lookout, I received a call from Karen and Olivia informing me of their safe arrival at Logan Airport in Boston and that they were on their way to Maine. After a few phone calls in which I gave directions to Karen on how to get to our condominium, they arrived around 10 p.m. It was wonderful seeing Karen and Olivia. Olivia had grown and was a beautiful, almost 10-year-old young lady. Karen looked great, and we were all in good spirits, but quite tired. They from their long flight from California and drive from Boston, and me from my flight to Maryland and return on the same day. Ogunquit Visitors, Summer 2007. Rachel, Henry, and Andrew, Henry's nephew, visited before the fire, and Rachel flew up for a few days after the fire to see Diana and the California family. It was a pleasant summer. I went fishing with my brother Mickey twice, and we caught several bass and pickerel. Mickey and Sharon live in Durham, New Hampshire, which is less than an hour from Ogunquit. Diana and I also had several meals out with Mickey and Sharon. We also had a fantastic lobster feast at their home a few days after our arrival in Maine. They were kind enough to take care of our dog Dexter for the entire 7 weeks we were in Ogunquit, because dogs are not allowed in the Lookout condominium complex.